We did it, we're here, we made it to the end of review week. Hi, my name is Sarah Freshly and welcome back to Freshly Read Books. So for this entire week, I have been reviewing each of the Booker shortlisted books, one new video a day, and now it is the 7th day. So before we get into it, as a reminder of what this week has been / what today is. Day 1, Day 2, Day 3, Day 4, Day 5, Day 6, and Day 7 is rankings and winner predictions. That's right, today we are finally getting to rank the entire long list. I've been so excited to do this, but also a little bit nervous because I have made it a point to not think too much about this before going into it. I have already made my prediction because I recorded a podcast for the Bookcast earlier today. Kieran, Sarah, and I talked about what our predictions would be for the winner this year. If you've been following me for a while, then you may know that I have predicted the last 3 Bookers correct. That being Tomb of Sand from International Booker 2022 this year, last year's International Booker 2021 At Night All Blood is Black, and also the regular Booker of last year, The Promise. That means that the only one that I've been wrong about so far was the very first Booker that I was doing videos for, which is Booker 2020. I didn't get Shuggy Bane right. So I've got a very good track record and I'm very nervous about it. But I feel like the longer I get the predictions right, then the worse it's gonna feel once I inevitably fail. But before we get into that, let's rank these books. So I'm gonna start with the long listed books and then we'll move into the short listed because I think I'll have a harder time with those. Or I don't know. But really quick before I get into these rankings, I just wanna say this is all for fun. This is purely me ranking them based off of my enjoyment. I might bring a little bit of what I think it's doing in the greater scheme of things, but this doesn't necessarily mean that I think you will like all these books the same. Obviously not. Just as a little caveat. All right, so we're gonna start by placing one of the books on the list already, and then I'm gonna compare books from there. So let's just stick Booth up there because I think it'll be better if I am just thinking like, where does a book belong in regards to the other books on the list, if that makes sense. So we've got Booth. So let's move to Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies next. I think that that one is going to go below Booth for me. I think that Americans will enjoy Booth more than people from other places just because it's got a very American story at its heart, as you will see for a couple books actually on this long list. I think really 3 of them have very American feeling stories, but I think that this one most of all feels like it would have a harder time meaning something to people of other places. However, I am American and I really liked it. So I thought that it was pretty slow, but in the end, I find myself thinking back on it more than I do on Spectacular Bodies, which I mostly really liked the poetry parts of, and the writing I found really beautiful, but the story as a whole and the characters I had a hard time with. All right, let's move on to Case Study. Ooh, I don't know actually. I think maybe Case Study would be above Booth, just because I think I had a bit of an easier time reading it and I went through it a little bit more quickly than I did with Booth. But I think that if Case Study had been as long as Booth, then I think I would have enjoyed Booth more. But it wasn't, so I didn't. Next is After Sappho. After Sappho I really struggled with, but I really liked what it was doing. And the parts that I loved of it, I really loved. So I think that I'm actually gonna put that above Case Study. Yeah. Okay, Nightcrawling. Nightcrawling, I think I'm gonna put that after Booth. I can't believe actually how low Spectacular Bodies is, but every time I think about it compared to another book, I'm like, whatever. Next we have Trust, Easy, going at the top of the list. I really liked Trust. I think I could see myself reading that one again, and I feel like that says a lot. The Colony, I think would go right below Trust for me. I really enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away or anything. I thought it was a really solid read. And that one I think I could talk about more easily than the other ones on this list, which means that it stuck with me a little bit more. Okay, we're officially moving into the shortlisted books. I apologize that I keep looking down. It's just that that's where my list is. Okay, let's deal with Treacle Walker because I don't want to, so I know I just need to get it over with. I feel really bad about this because it's not that I didn't enjoy Treacle Walker, it's that I didn't understand it at all. And I don't really feel like I have any criticism for the book because I didn't understand it. So it's really hard for me to rank this among the other books, but I think I'm gonna have to put it pretty close to the bottom. If I'm going personally for me, like I'm trying to think of if I wanted to have a conversation about these books, like which books would I most want to talk to somebody else about, and Treacle Walker would be bottom of that list. Then let's do Trees. Trees is pretty high for me. I just don't know if it's above Trust or below Trust. I think Trees is a little bit more important than Trust was, but I really liked the way Trust was told. But I do really like the way Trees is told. Okay, I'm putting Trees above Trust. Am I? Yes. Then Glory. Glory, I think I'm actually gonna put again at the top of that list. We're just really building out the top of this list right now. I think that this might surprise some people. I feel like this one didn't get a ton of love, but I really liked Glory. It was disappointing to me that all of the characters were animals. I felt like that really detracted from the book instead of adding to the book, which was sad. But I still think that at this time in the list, it is my top. Okay, Small Things Like These. I think that that would go below The Colony and above After Sappho. Actually, I think it's further down on the list. Maybe after Sappho. Yeah, I like that. Should I say why? Probably. I think that it's a very middle of the road book for me. I think that it was good for a read and for a quick read, but I don't think it's something that I would ever consider like rereading, but I still think it was good. That's my justification. Okay, Oh William. Oh William I enjoyed a lot more than I expected to. I think that I'm actually gonna put that above The Colony and below Trust. Okay, and then we have one more, right? Yeah, The 7 Moons of Malia Almeida. This one is gonna go at the top of my list. It's weird because I don't love this book. None of these books I was like super overwhelmed with adoration for, but I think The 7 Moons is the one that I get closest to for that. With that being said, it actually is also my prediction for the book that I think is going to win this year. I struggled a lot with this one. I went back and forth between that and Glory, and also I could see The Trees winning, but I think that for the shortlist that we've got, 7 Moons just feels right, and I can't explain further. I think that it's an interesting story that is told in an interesting way, that is shedding light on a historical moment, but is doing it in a way that you don't need to know like all about it in order to still get a lot out of the book, but it would probably benefit if you did, which I feel like is something Booker loves. I mean, I know the judges are different every year, but still. And not only that, but the writing is beautiful. So I could see this being our Booker winner. Anyways, that is it for this week of reviews. Thank you so much for joining me. Please let me know what you think is going to be the winner this year, and then maybe like what your top 3 books. If you want to rank all the books that you've read for Booker this year, feel free. I would love to know. But if not, you can stick to just like your favorite 1 or 3 or whatever. And I would say that this is going to close out the Booker season, but I do have one last video coming out on Wednesday about the last 3 books that I haven't talked about that are on the long list. So be sure to check that out when that's released. And besides that, I upload new videos every Wednesday, so just subscribe for all the fun that is to come. And I will see you then. Bye.